how I lived below my means and saved more money. The turning point arrived on a random Tuesday morning in the middle of a crowded train when I tapped my phone and saw a bank alert that didn't make sense. My salary had come in only 7 days earlier, and somehow the balance had already dipped into a number that felt uncomfortably close to my early 20s version of broke. At first, I assumed it was a mistake. I worked hard. I earned more than I ever had. I wasn't extravagant. I wasn't buying luxury handbags or booking surprise vacations. So why was my money disappearing as if it had a secret life after dark? That's when the question hit me. Why do so many people feel financially stressed even when they're earning more than ever? This question planted itself in my mind like a quiet mystery I couldn't shake. Later that night, as I walked home, I thought of the phrase, live below your means. It's advice we've all heard, but never with depth or context. And strangely, it was almost always delivered as if it belonged in the dusty handshake of an older generation. But that day, something shifted. I realized how I lived below my means and saved more money wasn't going to be about depriving myself or shrinking my life. It was going to be about reinventing the way I moved through the world, financially, emotionally, and psychologically. And that is where the journey really begins. The hidden problem: we don't know what living below your means actually means. The phrase live below your means first showed up in early personal finance writing from the 1900s, when daily life was slower, cash was physical, and social comparison was limited to the people you physically saw. But today, we don't live in that world. We exist in a global digital economy where advertisements follow us, influencers narrate their purchases, and every app is designed to make spending instant and invisible. What used to be a simple idea, spend less than you earn, has transformed into a psychological puzzle shaped by notifications, algorithms, and micro-temptations. We think we're living within our means because we're not overspending in dramatic ways. But the truth is more complicated. We're often living at our means, with no space for mistakes, emergencies, or opportunities. That's when I discovered the real problem. Living within your means is survival. Living below your means is strategy. And in the modern world, where everything is engineered to make us consume more, the real challenge isn't discipline, it's awareness. This realization was the spark that made me willing to investigate my spending with uncomfortable honesty. The moment my spending got exposed, one night I decided to print out 3 months of bank statements. It felt old-fashioned, but necessary. I sat on my living room floor with neon highlighters and a kind of curiosity that felt half scientist, half detective. I expected to find 1 or 2 obvious culprits, maybe food delivery, maybe impulse buys. What I didn't expect was the pattern that emerged. The problem wasn't big expenses, it was identity-based spending. Tiny choices that reflected who I thought I needed to be, not who I actually was. A $4 add-on here, a small subscription there, a convenience purchase after a stressful day, a micro-treat because I deserved it. Individually harmless, collectively destructive. Before we get into the next part, I'd really recommend subscribing if you want simple, practical tips that help you save more and live below your means without feeling deprived. I post new videos every day, so hit subscribe and let's continue. So I conducted a strange experiment, a neutral month. I didn't force myself to be frugal. I simply observed. No guilt, no pressure, just awareness. And the result shocked me. Over 70% of my non-essential spending came from habit, boredom, or subtle social pressure. The discovery felt like finding the missing piece in a long-standing mystery. Living below my means wasn't about cutting, it was about questioning. I actually lived below my means, but in a new, unusual way. Strategy 1. The invisible lifestyle downgrade. I learned to make lifestyle adjustments others would never notice. I swapped brand-name groceries for high-quality store brands. I optimized transportation by mixing walking, occasional ride shares, and off-peak public transit. I removed and used streaming services quietly, one at a time. These changes didn't make me look or feel cheap. They simply reduced expenses without affecting my social identity. The magic of this approach is that no one comments, no one questions, and no one pressures you to upgrade back. Strategy 2. Micro-wealth behaviors. Instead of chasing massive savings goals, I adopted tiny behaviors that compounded over time. I added friction to spending, removing saved cards from online platforms, deleting one-click checkout, and creating a 48-hour delay for any non-urgent purchase. I also built a low-cost default day, a routine that cost almost nothing but still felt fulfilling. The psychology is powerful. You don't fight temptation, you simply slow it down. And when spending becomes slower, saving becomes easier, without forcing sacrifice. Strategy 3. The reverse budget. Rather than budgeting my expenses first, I flipped the system. I paid a chunk of money to my future self the moment my salary arrived. That amount went directly into savings or investments, leaving the remainder for living expenses. This made saving automatic, not ambitious. It felt like a bill, non-negotiable and consistent. The surprising part is that your lifestyle naturally adjusts to whatever is left without feeling like a punishment. Strategy 4. Adopting a one high-value obsession. I realized my spending was scattered across too many interests I didn't actually care about deeply. So I chose one passion, learning, and funneled my spending there. A single obsession reduces the desire for random impulse buys because your attention has a home. Whether it's fitness, travel hacking, or art, having one identity anchor cuts dozens of tiny, unfocused expenses that usually slip through unnoticed. Strategy 5. The no upgrade year. For 1 year, I made a rule. No upgrades unless something was broken beyond repair. That meant keeping my phone, my wardrobe, and my home items exactly as they were. It was surprisingly liberating. Modern culture pushes constant upgrading, but staying still creates financial stability. Not upgrading didn't make me feel outdated. It made me feel intentional. Do you know why this works especially well today? Around the world, prices have risen, housing has tightened, and digital lifestyles cost more than they used to. At the same time, new cultural shifts like de-influencing, minimalism, and slow living have made mindful spending socially acceptable. People want stability more than luxury. They want experiences, security, and meaning. Living below your means isn't outdated anymore. It's a modern survival skill. And strangely enough, at a time when financial stress is at an all-time high, choosing a calmer, simpler money life feels quietly rebellious. Within 1 month, I reduced non-essential spending by almost 30% without noticing any lifestyle difference. By the 3rd month, I had saved enough to cover an entire month of living expenses. By the 6th month, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Control. The biggest win came unexpectedly. When a last-minute opportunity to travel for a professional workshop appeared, a trip that could shape my career, I paid for it in full without hesitation or debt. For the first time, money wasn't a barrier. It was a tool. The emotional shift was even bigger. I slept better. I felt lighter. My bank notifications no longer triggered anxiety. They created reassurance. What no one tells you about living below your means. No one talks about how identity plays a role in spending. Living below your means isn't mainly about numbers. It's about who you choose to be. When you stop comparing, you stop overspending. It also reduces decision fatigue. Fewer wants mean fewer choices, which means more peace. And ultimately, living below your means gives you power. Power to say no. Power to walk away. Power to choose opportunities instead of reacting to emergencies. Many people think overspending is a lack of willpower, but today, most purchases are shaped by silent digital algorithms. Ads are personalized, checkout is one click, and recommendations follow your past choices. Most of us don't overspend everywhere, just in 2 or 3 repeating loops. Mine were food delivery and convenience purchases. Once identified, breaking them felt manageable, not overwhelming. Fixing 2 habits saved more than fixing 10. Once I understood this, I stopped blaming myself and started redesigning my digital environment, removing saved cards and muting shopping apps. Remember the question from the beginning: why did I feel broke even when I was earning more? The answer was simple but uncomfortable. My spending had expanded to fit my identity, not my income. Once I changed the identity, the spending shrank naturally. Today, when I see a bank notification, the feeling is different. It's calm. It's grounded. It's proof that I am no longer living in financial reaction mode. I'm living in intention mode. If you're reading this wondering where to begin, start with curiosity, not restriction. Try the neutral month. Observe your patterns. Let your awareness lead the way. Because your own story of living below your means might start exactly where mine did, with one honest moment and one brave decision. Now, if you want to learn more about achieving financial success, then watch this video next.